Chelsea Handler, Little Big B.
I say I don't want to be a mother, but I wouldn't mind being like a divorced dad, you know? I could crush that role, coming in hot at like 50% all the time.
Friday, November 3rd, Arlene Schnitzer Hall. On sale now at portland5.com. Chelsea Handler, live.
Or a stepfather. That's another role I would crush.
Produced by Live Nation.
Over the past couple of weeks, a quintessential Portland pub food has infiltrated our show. It didn't matter if we were talking about beer or the week's local news. All conversations have led back to the existence of the tacho. For those of you who are new here, just imagine nachos, but instead of tortilla chips, you have tater tots. And all of this reminded us of a very important conversation we had a few months ago concerning the Oregon origins of the tot. So get your ketchup and ranch dip ready, because today on CityCast Portland, food writer and OPB Super Abundant newsletter producer Heather Arndt Anderson is not only digging deep into Oregon's starchy history, she's also picking a few spots that excel in our state's chosen potato snack. It's Tuesday, October 31st. I'm Claudia Meza, and this is what Portland's talking about. Is there like a chicken outside or a rooster?
Oh, yeah, my chickens laid an egg. Here, let me close my windows. I can't hear them because
It's so distinct. I can totally hear it.
The sound of a dinosaur screaming. That's what it sounds like. Here, let me close my other window. Hold on.
Oh, I love it. I love it. It's like, I laid an egg. Everyone must know.
Yes, it sounds like they're being strangled.
All right. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.
You know, I had no idea until recently that tater tots were invented in Oregon. It was a conversation, I believe, I don't know, it was like a random conversation we were having, you know, different episode, different guests, and someone just dropped that. They're like, oh, and you know, Oregon invented tater tots. And I was like, what? Like, I wanted to completely just change the entire conversation so we could just talk about that. So you being on to satiate that curiosity is very exciting for me. So how did that happen? Like, how did Oregon invent the tater tot?
It's funny because, you know, Oregon does not produce the most potatoes, but a lot of the big corporate potato folks are based in Eastern Oregon or started in Eastern Oregon, including Ore-Ida, which people might not realize the name Ore-Ida is Oregon, Idaho, because it's right there on the border. So the folks behind Ore-Ida, the Griff family, they were producing frozen corn niblets and frozen potato products, and they could offload the waste to cattle farmers in the area. But the scraps of potatoes were technically still edible because it was just like the peels and little bits. And so they wanted to figure out a way to recapture some of that cost rather than just throwing it out. So they started doing some work chopping them up and extruding them into these like logs, and then finally figured out a way to make them so that they wouldn't stick together in the freezer bag. And luckily they were already producing some of their like hash brown products. So I think the market was ready. And when they finally released tater tots into markets in the mid 50s, they were like just perfectly situated to be a hit.
So yeah, so it's not like they were, you know, reinventing a wheel. Like they were just like, we already do this. Let's just make it into this shape.
Yeah. So, you know, they were kind of already in the zeitgeist of weirdly shaped potatoes.
So the one addition is that tater tots, and I didn't know this, actually have peel in it.
Yeah. It's all, the scraps are all in there. I don't know, you know, I can't think of any time I've eaten a tater tot and noticed the peel.
Yeah, exactly.
They might still be peeled and then the other scraps are used for the tots. I've never been behind the wizard's curtain at Ore-Ida, so I don't exactly know how the tots are made.
Well, what do you think it is about tater tots that make them such an iconic Portland snack? Like, I honestly don't see them on the menu as much in other cities as they are in Portland.
I think that we have a really strong and storied culture of drinking alcohol. So I think that foods that go well with beer and with booze tend to be more popular here. And foods that were calorie dense and could give energy to people who had very labor intensive jobs, steel workers and lumberjacks and folks who need to eat a ton of carbohydrates. The tater tots right there, it's ready to go. And the convenience factor too. But I think that, yeah, we're a region of carb lovers.
Just love that. Yeah, pretty much when I found out that Oregon invented the tater tot, I also discovered that Oregon was such a huge producer of potatoes. I didn't know. I thought that was just Idaho.
No, Idaho has us beat by like 10 million pounds or something.
Oh, only 10 million. Okay.
But, yeah, so I think we produce like 3 million or 3 billion pounds, and they produce 13 million or billion. So
it's a huge discrepancy. I'm sorry.
Huge difference.
It's like, I think we should probably narrow that down. Here we go. John just wrote, more than 2.7 billion pounds of potatoes are grown annually in Oregon. Yeah, billions. Which, to be honest, if we put money on it, if we were just like, all right, let's bet, I would have definitely gone with million. But yet, and this is what I find interesting, is that this year the Oregon legislature declared the potato to be our official state vegetable. Why are we trying to take the crown from the rightful owner of Idaho? Is this because they tried to take Eastern Oregon, you think?
Maybe. That seems like a really bold counter maneuver on the part of Oregon. Yeah, I don't know. We could have gone with like a sweet onion. That would have been a really good idea.
Yeah.
But I can't think of any other vegetables that we're one of the top green bean producers too.
We're also really pushing radicchio.
Yes, the Culinary Breeding Network folks are really like and it's a really good looking, and it's a sexy vegetable compared to a potato. Right? You can't,
Yeah, right now we have a running kind of emoji joke where if anyone says, I'm going to lunch, John just puts a potato as an acknowledgement of, yes, you are going to lunch. And it just, because
that's just AFK.
It's so silly looking. It's just like, Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I'm a little disappointed in our state. I just wanted to say, and I want to share that sentiment with you. I don't know why we chose the potato. No diss to a potato, but Idaho potato. Oregon potato? I don't know.
But no, it's not as well known. But potatoes do bring a lot of money to the state. They are one of our top agricultural products. So, it makes sense. All of those like official state whatevers are all kind of pushed by marketing boards anyways. They're not always for any real significant reason. Hazelnuts too, like they're our state nut, but they weren't even really a thing until the 80s. That was when like the hazelnut board was like, we should make hazelnut the state nut. So just these marketing people, really, the publicists are out there getting vegetables the fame that they demand.
I'm just imagining just the paparazzi after a potato. Another thing that we discovered, another like potato claim to fame, is that we invented the potato gun. Oregon did.
Yeah, so it's the water potato knife. It's a knife gun or something. It sounds very deadly. I can't remember what the exact patent says. But yeah, Lamb Weston, which is sort of the Ore-Ida competitor, also in Eastern Oregon, invented this like hydraulic gun that's a grid of knives that the water blasts the potato through it to like rapidly cut French fries. And that same company, Lamb Weston, invented the curly fry. So the curly fry is also born in Oregon. Yes. Can you believe it? And we also invented the JoJo. So we have like the holy trinity of potato products.
Heather,
are all from Oregon.
Stop. You need to stop. I can't. Okay, so I thought this was all just going to be about tater tots. You just threw in curly fries and JoJo's. Yeah. Okay, I do believe we do. I believe now. Okay, potato. Yeah, that's our state vegetable. But it's more like, could the tater tot be our vegetable?
I think it should be. I would make a strong case for that.
Yeah. All right, well, let's take a quick break here. And when we return, 3 places that make the best tots in town. What are the 3 places do you think excel at making tater tots here in Portland?
I'm going to start with the low-hanging fruit. And for the generic, you just need some starch to go with your beer. Doesn't need to be fancy. It's a toss-up between Fire on the Mountain and McMenamins. They have extremely serviceable tots. McMenamins, you can get the Cajun spice on there. They're great. very, very good standard, like gold standard, I would say, for a tater tot. If you want to start getting weird on a tater tot, Bottle Rocket has this fish sauce tot, which tastes kind of like it's just a potato version of the Pock Pock wings. They're like
Ooh.
sticky and sweet and salty and a little funky. I think that Hungry Tiger's tachos are better than the tachos at Oaks Bottom Public House, where the tacho was invented.
Oh, wait, hold up. Heather, you keep dropping these
I
like
keep
nuggets.
burying the lead.
I know. You're just like, and whatever. And also, we invented tachos. Back it up. Who in Portland invented the tacho?
Yeah, his last name was Parker, I think. It was the Oaks Bottom Public House over in the Selwood neighborhood.
Do you know what year?
It was in 2003, I want to say.
It's so recent. Jim
Mhm.
Parker.
Jim Parker.
Jim Parker. That's the name we were just given by our omnipresent producer. I feel like that should be Selwood's tagline as a neighborhood.
They do put on their menu, like at that pub.
Mhm.
I have to say though, and I'm so sorry, I don't usually take a dump on people, but I didn't think their tachos were that good. The problem was that they need to pre-fry you guys can have this information for free as a
Okay.
food person. Please fry your tots first and then top them with the toppings. Don't put toppings on top of cold tots because the tots in the middle don't get warm. They're not crunchy. It becomes this like greasy pile of cold mashed potatoes with like cheese half melted on it. Please fix it.
Who's frying with cheese on it? I don't get it. That doesn't make any
Oh,
sense.
no. So I think that they're putting cold tots on a plate and then putting the toppings on and shoving it under the salamander.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that's disgusting. We don't like
You gotta
that.
start with hot tots.
Heather Arndt Anderson, you heard it here first. You got to start with hot tots. So this is a controversial question, and so I left it for last because I didn't want to sour the mood. What is the correct dipping sauce for a tater tot, and why?
Oh man. Okay. I can make a logical claim that it's ketchup because actually Orida sold to Heinz. And so it's kind of like the stepmom and dad are having a good marriage and it really worked out. And we're not mad at the step siblings. The tots with ketchup is good. But I really like ranch on a tot. If it's a Cajun spiced tot, especially if something has a little zip to it, I like a cool, creamy dressing to quell the heat a little bit. As long as there's a good balance of like acid. I like even like a sweet chili sauce on a tot's pretty good.
Ooh.
But yeah, I think ranch or ketchup. I don't mess around too much. I usually keep it pretty classic.
I'm glad that you said something other than ketchup, because if you just ended this with like ketchup, it would have been, I mean, there's no wrong answer, but Heather.
I feel like any take a person has about condiments is a hot take. And
Yeah,
it
it's so
has to be
true.
backed up. It has to be backed up because no matter what, someone's gonna be like, "You're wrong." Whatever, man. There's room in this world for all condiments.
But like if somebody was going to use like a honey Dijon, can we just tell them they're wrong?
I'm not mad at a honey Dijon. It's got the sweetness, it's got the acidity from the vinegar. So yeah, no, I'll allow it.
Okay, cool. Well, before we wrap it up, is there anything else potato related that Oregon invented that we haven't discussed that you're just going to throw at me at the very last moment? As soon as I say goodbye, you're like, oh, and whatever.
I feel like I covered it. We really did kind of nail it though on the fried potato products. We really did. We can go home proud of what we've done, knowing that we really are the potato people. Idaho, you're good at growing them, but we are the real potato people.
Yeah, this was quite an arc because I came in 100% being like, who do we think we are? who do we think we are? Just saying that, oh yeah, we're the potato people. But now I'm just like, we actually are, because I feel like you might grow them, but we make them. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Yeah. It's the you kill them, we grill them kind of situation here.
Yeah, a dead cow is not a hamburger.
But can I tell you real quick before we leave my favorite topping for a tater tot?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually not a big fry person, so I need a lot of stuff. Like I don't like fries alone, but if you give me chili cheese fries, I'm like all over it, And it's kind of similar with a tater tot, but I learned to eat it with like a little creme fraiche or sour cream or something, and caviar.
Ooh.
And it is so good. Like,
Makes
I'm just
sense.
anyone out there, if you like caviar, I just like lost all my listeners. Like, they're just like, caviar,
No.
who is this lady talking? But it's really good because it's so salty, and then you have a potato, and then it's crunchy, and then you have the creme fraiche or the sour cream, whatever you're using. It's just like, there's not much acid. That's the only thing that's missing, but I still think it's really good.
Creme fraiche is pretty acidic. It's got that like lactic acid.
Yeah.
You know, I bet you could do make it like a tostone, kind of like flatten it and fry it. So then you can use it like a little blin. And that would be pretty classy.
Yeah. Sorry. I just I just had to mention that before we left. Yeah, just a hot tip for you, Heather.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I never would have thought to do that with a tater tot, but now the sky's the limit, really.
Yeah. Yeah. You're welcome. Well, Heather, thank you so much for taking time to discuss the tater tot with me.
My pleasure.
This was worth everyone's time.
Oh, good. It's my favorite.
That's all for today here on CityCast Portland. Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to support the show, share, review, and subscribe. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more from around the city. Until then, see you at Slim's.